Brad Arnold is my guest, lead singer for Three Doors Down.
I've been blessed to be in this band for 30 years, and God has blessed us so much, and he has kept his hands around me when I was so foolish and done so many things that were just that I knew better than. And I'm not one of those people that can say that I didn't know any better, because I always knew better. You know, I come from a good family, and I'm so thankful for my family and my brothers and sisters and my mom and dad. And if I have to acknowledge first that I was an alcoholic I started drinking down in Mississippi when I was a teenager with all my friends, like teenagers do. And we got signed when I was 20 years old. And I stepped on a tour bus when I was 20 years old and started touring the world. It was just a lot to hand a 20-year-old, you know, and it was just kind of the lifestyle, and whether it just be nerves going on stage or just not being able to sleep in a bus, the lifestyle just led me further and further down the road before I realized that I was drinking pretty heavily. My mom had prayed for me to quit. My brothers and sisters had prayed for me to quit because they seen the road I was going down. And so there was a lot of prayers being said for me, and I'm thankful for every one of them. I was in Japan one day, and we were playing the show for the troops. I could feel myself slipping away, that it wasn't me anymore. And I could also feel that this wasn't going to last a lot longer. And then I tried to call a friend and look for somebody, I guess, just to okay it or whatever, to validate my feelings. And I couldn't get anyone on the phone. And I FaceTimed Mr. Charlie. And he and his wife were sitting there on the couch. And it was late at night there. And it was about mid-morning, maybe here, or a big time difference. And I was sitting there just sobbing and just telling him how unhappy I was in my life. He was a great counsel to me before this time. He always had great advice to tell me. He said, son, he said, if you love your wife and you love God like you say you do, you need to come home and you need to go rehab. That was a man that came in there to kind of hear your kind of talk and hear you pour your heart out. And he asked me, he said, Brad, he said, do you love God? I said, yes, sir, I love God. He said, why are you serving yourself? He said, you're not serving God with this. He said, you're serving yourself. And it hit me hard. And he said, do you love your wife? I said, yes, sir, of course I love my wife. He said, well, then why are you trying to kill her husband? And it hit me between the eyes. And that's been the 19th of this month. That have been 9 years ago. And those 9 years have been the best years of my life. And we started coming to church here, and I think about 5 years ago. And your sermons have helped me tremendously. And it's brought me to the best place I've ever been in my entire life. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. God changes lives.
Yes, sir.
He just uses us to help one another along the way.
Indeed. Like the Zach Williams song, right there in the broken pieces, there was Jesus. Even when I didn't know it and couldn't see it, there was Jesus. And he was there through those times. And I realize now that all those times allowed me to be able to talk to people that otherwise might think before I ever said a word that there's no way he understands.
Right.
And I do understand, because I was there. And that's one of the reasons I listened to Mr. Charlie.
But I have listened to some of your stuff. Now you've not only made a change, you've made a public declaration of faith. I mean, I've listened to several of the statements you've made on stage. I mean, talking about Jesus and your faith, and I mean, just being real. You've been more straightforward with your concert audience than a lot of pastors I know.
Well,
thank you for that. That's not an accident.
I am so thankful to have the chance. I said, I was at a loss. I said, God, please, help us figure this out, please. And because I don't think there's anything too mundane to ask God for help with. And he said, next time I tell you to do something, you going to do it? I said, yes. So he told me that night, he said, Brad, I want you to tell him that I love him this summer. And I said, I absolutely will. I said, but I don't know how to go about that at a rock concert in front of people that are standing there, half of them, quarter of them standing there with a beer in their hand, you know? And he said, I'll tell you what to say. Don't worry about it. You just do it. And I said, I will. And so I did it all summer. And the response to it was overwhelming. I expected some pushback. I really honestly did. I got none. you get the people out in the crowd kind of rolling their eyes a little bit here and there, but the response that I got on social media, people send me messages like, that was so refreshing to hear somebody say that. And because I firmly believe that the world is so hungry for it. And before this past summer, which we went out with Creed, which is and Scott's a pretty spiritual guy himself, and he grew up in a Christian home, and he's a great dude. And because I don't go on and on, I know that I have a very short window before people start shutting down, and people aren't at a rock show to be preached at, But I want to share that with them, and I know that He put me in this position to do exactly that. And I don't care if it costs me my career. I don't care if it costs me my life. I can honestly 100% say that I don't care. It's the greatest thing I've ever got to do. Yeah, like I said, you see an eye roll here or there, but you see people, more eye rolls than I see right in the middle of a rock concert. I see this toward the stage, and I love it. I love it.
That is awesome.
And I kind of pair it with the song Away from the Sun, which was the title track off our second record. But that song has a lot of Christian connotations in it on purpose, because I feel like so many times that we're so far down away from the sun, in the song it's spelled S-U-N, but it could so very easily be the S-O-N. Was realizing that I'd never be worthy to carry that message. And because I was like, I'm not really worthy to get up there and say that. But I mean, like, He doesn't call the prepared.
You're right. You're not worthy.
I'm not.
But we're bragging on the one who made us worthy.
That's right.
We're
Absolutely.
not telling our story.
Absolutely.
We're not there because we're smart or bright or talented. The Lord has blessed us.
Amen.
Charlie made an investment in your life, and it changed another generation of music. God's going to use you to change generations of music.
I really hope so.
So you keep honoring him. I trust him to do that, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Okay? God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.